Hello and welcome to another edition of Books Are Fun, where books are fun. Today we'll be talking with a special guest, Sarah Vowell, the author of one of the most entertaining books out there, The Partly Cloudy Patriot. Well, here, ladies and gentlemen, here she is now, Sarah Vowell. Thank you. Glad to be here. Now, Sarah, I have recently read your book, and I must say, I am completely taken aback. I mean, this is a wonderful read.
Oh, thank you so much. It's one of my favorites yet.
So tell us a little bit about your book. What inspired you to write it?
Well, I wanted to write a book that covered my views about what it means to be an American. I wanted to talk about what we as Americans go through during the hard times and the good times. But I didn't want to drone on and on with some boring structure. For this reason, I chose to tell my thoughts through personal stories. Being the history buff that I am, it wasn't too hard to recall examples from my past, considering that I've had several historical-based vacations. I know, I'm a little weird.
Well, how do you think the overall tone of the book influenced the things being said?
Well, in my opinion, I think the stream of conscious delivery of the book makes it that much easier and interesting to read. I mean, that's why I chose to write it like that, because, like I said before, I didn't want it to drone on and become unbearable to read. But obviously, I think I overcame that goal, considering I'm on a talk show called Books Are Fun.
Oh, well, you're very funny. Even during the book, I found myself laughing out loud, mainly because of the conversation-like delivery. Now, in person, I see you're no different. Now, which chapter really portrays why you called the book The Partly Cloudy Patriot?
Well, besides the chapter named The Partly Cloudy Patriot, I would have to say chapter 6, where I talk about how Al Gore came to Concord High School to talk about how one small student can make such a difference. After his speech, the press blew up with stories regarding what they thought he was saying. The public became disillusioned and mistrusting with the media. This is a prime example of how sometimes being an American with the privilege of free press can turn into a mess, which can, in turn, make you skeptical of the system, or in my words, partly cloudy.
Very, very interesting. I have a curious question to ask you. What chapter was your favorite?
Oh, that would be the one titled, Tom Cruise Makes Me Nervous. I actually wrote that one in a relatively short amount of time. It's not necessarily relevant to my main point, but I find it hysterical. I always love hearing movie references and actually understanding them, so I threw in several references to some of the best and most well-known Tom Cruise movies, along with reasons why I'm scared of him. It's very entertaining. I like to write about things that not only entertain me, but also my readers.
So what can the readers take away from the book?
Well, I'd have to say that readers should understand how sometimes, as Americans, we face hard times as well as good times. I want the reader to understand that to be a true patriot of this country, you have to be both skeptical and critical of the country's actions. The book's main focus is not to recognize that the country has problems, but to live through them without doubt.
I agree. Now, what gives you unique perspective on the issues in this book?
I'd have to say the fact that I'm part Native American and part Okie gives me a unique perspective because I know the glory and shame of the United States. That, and I'm a huge history buff who's obsessed with the country's history.
I must say, the way you wrote the book, the style and tone really added to my admiration of you. I mean, give it up for her, ladies and gentlemen. You made dull subjects a pleasure to read, with great humor and American paradoxes.
Well, thank you.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. The Partly Cloudy Patriot is on sale in a bookstore near you, so get up, get out, and get that book. Because remember, books are fun. Thank you. Good night, everyone.